Hi, my name's Lisa Starr Francis, and I am here with the series called What is in a Name? And today we are talking about the letter C. So, when we come here to talk about the letters in this way, saying what is in a name, we are doing so because the one of the things that the Word Oracle has brought forth is what is called your name code. And it looks at our birth name in the same way that numerology might look at our name, meaning that the letters are assigned meaning through a numbered system. And the name code that is brought forth through this oracle works in a similar fashion to numerology, meaning that every letter is connected with a number and every letter is connected with certain attributes. So when our birth name is given to us at birth, it is presupposed that this birth name that we are given is in a match, it's in an alignment with the gifts that our soul wished to activate and use in this life journey. So, the name code speaks to that. And the What is in a Name series is just to allow you to understand this because it is a new thing. And if you have an understanding of numerology, that's usually a good gateway to understanding this a little bit as well. So, in the Word Oracle, there are the alphabet is the lexicon of this deck, and the deck is in four color categories, meaning that there's 26 cards, the 26 letters of the alphabet, in four different color families. So we end up with 104 cards. So when we talk about any of the letters, we're talking about four, four cards that are speaking about the architecture of the letter. So when we agreed to the name and we got that name, each letter of the alphabet has attributes associated with it. So these are the things that our soul intended to use, attributes to use to live out our purpose. So this sort of speaks to the feeling when we don't know that how we feel like we're not on purpose. Sometimes we're feeling that not because we're not actually on purpose, but because sometimes these things are not we are not using the attribute fully. So we don't feel on purpose, but it's just because it could be laying dormant out of use. That we never lose our attributes. They're always there. Just some of them are active and some of them might not be. And when we check in with a letter like this, we begin to see for ourselves, oh, I'm doing that. That represents. And oh, I'm not doing that so good. So it just gives us feedback for ourselves. And we, of course, when we hear something, we know if it's true for us or it's not. Hi, Adriana. Glad you're joining me for today's What is in a Name. Yesterday I did the letter A. Today I'm doing the letter C. So we're going to talk about the attributes when you have the letter C in your name. So if your name starts with C or you have C in your name somewhere, if you have multiple C's, you want to pay attention because these would be attributes that are built into the architecture of your name and into it gives us information about our soul's intention. Okay, so we're going to start with the first of the C cards, and this card calls itself The Dream is Real. The dream is real. So these are the qualities that are entered in with you. So remember, when I'm talking, these qualities have come in with you. If you're carrying the C, you've come with these, okay? So the first the first quality with this, so there's going to be 4 qualities with this C, as there's 4 qualities with each of the letters. So this one, the dream is real. So what does that mean? It means for some, this quality shows up like a natural trust in what cannot be seen. So it's like they naturally trust what they can't see. And these C people will move with a sense that is more present than what is appearing. So they sort of seem at ease, even though what appears might not be appearing easeful. They seem to be able to be at ease. They can trust in what is not yet seen. Okay, so that is if the attribute, if the gift, if it's been allowed to flourish uninhibited. Now imagine, when we're all children, we come in, we're uninhibited, and then people tell us, yes, you can do that, and no, you can't do that. And as simply as we get these yes and no's throughout our life, that will affect how the attribute, how much does the attribute blossom. All of our life will have to do with how much any attribute is blossomed and how much we are using it, or perhaps we even discover why we're not using it. So these are meant to give us information. So if you're a C and you naturally trust in what cannot be seen and move forward with a sense of ease, even though nothing is appearing, that's a C quality where it is flourishing, it is in full bloom. For others with a C, it may be easier to rely on only what's visible, okay? And there might be doubt around what is not yet formed. So they may be like, seeing is believing, so they don't believe before they see, okay? So that is a C that is dormant, okay? Because C in its blossom has that natural sense of trust. C that is laying dormant, that natural sense of trust is not blossomed. It's there, it's just not blossomed, okay? So that's all that we're looking at. And this is just good information for all of us who have a C in our name. I had a C in my birth name. So that is an attribute that I look at, and even sometimes we open it and then we shut it down because things happen. So it's good to see and notice how we're letting life affect us. I mean, once you do the work with your name code, it is less likely that you're going to have an attribute just get shut down very easily. It would take a lot to shut it down once you have done a full activation of it. Okay, so now let's look at the second card, the second C card, and we're going to talk about this one and the attribute that comes with this. And you'll notice, as a C person, am I doing this? So this one is called choose, open or closed. So for some, this is going to show up like a clear sense of when to be open and when to be closed. And that this person naturally shifts depending on the moment. This person is like that. So this person just has a real clear sense about when to be open to something and when not to be. All right. For others that have the C, it may be harder to know when to allow and when to hold back. And there could be uncertainty in how to respond. So that's the difference between blossomed or laying dormant. If it's not blossomed, it is going to be harder to know, when to be open and when to be closed. But ultimately, that is the gift that the C came in with, and that the C, remember that before we got here, these weren't things that we weren't going to know how to use. These were things that we chose and we knew how to use. It is life that helps us lay them down and let them become dormant. And now the Word Oracle comes along to help us identify those. And further to that, if we want a way to activate the ones that have gone dormant, the Word Oracle has a way for us to do that. All right, so here we go with the third of those attributes associated with the letter C. So if you have the C in your name, first letter, second, it's somewhere in your name. If you have multiple C's in your name, these attributes are something for you to listen to and notice what feels real for you. Okay, so this particular card calls itself Behold the Many Miracles. And for some, this is going to show up like having an easy recognition of small and large wonders. Like this is the person that's always going, ooh, ah, like they're at a fireworks display. This is the person who is able to see miracles everywhere. You know, behold the many miracles. This person sees that life is full and unfolding in meaningful ways, even in situations where it might not be looking like it's unfolding neatly or nicely or in the way one wants. This person is going to find the small and large wonders within it. They are going to see it as full. That is what the blossom of this attribute looks like. If it is not blossomed for others, it might look like things are pretty ordinary, or they don't, like they overlook things that are wonders. They just don't even see them. It's harder for them to notice what is a wonder. Like they are not looking down at a dandelion and realizing that even if it's called a weed, it is a wonder of nature. It is a wonder of nature. So that's the difference, is the seed that has this in full blossom is going to take in the dandelion and its glory with wonder, with awe. Like I said, it's like basically being at a fireworks display. Okay, so if you're a C, you'll know which one you're more in tune with there. And as I say, all the attributes are still there. We haven't lost them. We don't ever lose them. We just either let them bloom and encourage ourselves to keep them in bloom, or we don't. That's basically how it goes. Okay, so this is the last of the attributes for the letter C. And this particular card is called Zapped by Wise Vibes. So for some, this is going to show up as a steady connection with their own inner knowing. These are the people that really have a sense of what is true without needing outside input. These are those people. When C is in its blossom, they are not looking for outside input. They are really in a steady connection with their own inner knowing. So they have a steady connection. That doesn't mean intermittent. That means this person has a steady, daily, momently connection with their inner knowing. That is what full blossom of this particular C attribute is. For others with the C, if it's not blossomed, it may feel easier to look outward for direction. And that they may actually have a distance between their, like being able to hear their own inner signal. That's what it might feel like. When it's not blossomed, they are not in that steady connection with their own inner knowing. So those are the attributes of the four, as explained by the 4 C cards in the Word Oracle Alchemy System. So those are the qualities that are within the letter C. And if the letter C is in your name, then you are operating with those qualities. Those attributes came in with you with your name. They were chosen by you at a soul level to live out your life journey with. And when we chose at a soul level, we chose to take all of our gifts to full blossom. As I said, life as we live it allows us either to fully express them, or it sometimes life allows us only to express certain ones, and other ones do end up laying dormant. But they do not have to lay dormant forever. We can reactivate them using the Word Oracle and the Your Name code process. And that is available to anyone who wants it. And I really want to emphasize that if you hear this and you're a C person, you have that C in your name, and you're feeling more like it's not you're not blossomed. I want you to know that to be not blossomed does not mean that you are far away from it. To recognize you're not blossomed means that you now know that it's possible. It's possible. It's possible for the blossoming to take place, even without doing anything from me. If you listen to this and you understand what the attribute would be like if it was blooming versus not, then you can, on your own, turn it towards a bloom. You don't need me. You just need to know it's possible, and that attribute is in you. It came with you. It's the architecture that goes along with your purpose unfolding in this life. So we are all right on time, whether we notice that the attribute is in full blossom or whether that we notice it is not, because information is valuable when we take that information and we work with it. So I invite you to know for yourself what's going on. And, you do not need another person to tell you whether the attribute is working. You will know that yourself. What you might need is someone to help you work with it, but you don't need someone to decide for you whether you are working it or you are not working it. You are the best knower of that. So do know that for yourself. And thank you, Adriana, for being with me today. I have some weird cough going on. I apologize for anyone who has to watch this in replay and deal with that cough, because I will not be editing it. Tomorrow I will return with the next letter in this series, and that will be the letter D. Not because we are going alphabetically, but because I am going via the letters that I discovered to be the most popular for the beginning letter in people's names. So I have I've done J, M, and A, and now today I've done C. So those 4 videos will be over on my YouTube channel. If you have those letters and you missed those videos, please go there. And I will be following this week. I will be doing the letter D, the letter R, the letter S, and the letter L, and so on and so forth. So D, R, S, and L are the next 4 letters I will be coming here with, 1 each day. Yes, there will be 26 of these What is in a Name series, and I hope that you find it helpful, and I hope it gives you some feedback into yourself, because that is what the Word Oracle wants us to do, is have feedback into ourself. Why? Because it came here to teach us 2 things. That in your own reflection, when you look in the mirror, that is perfection. Absolute perfection, no matter what. That's the truth. And the second thing is that language is meant to be a tool of love. And this deck helps us to live where language is the language of universal love is our mother tongue. That means that's the way we speak. We speak in the mother tongue of love. And so this oracle comes to help us with our purpose, to fulfill the thing our soul intended to do before we got here. All right, I'll see you again with the letter D. Bye bye. Thanks for joining me.